The tech industry, the career to many that will finally be able to get them ahead of the curve, ranging from the great salary packages to free meals during the day, and even, generally speaking, a great work-life balance. I really struggled to get my foot in the door, trying various things, going from YouTube tutorials to paid ones on sites like Udemy, to trying to code in my own time, and definitely an emphasis on the word trying. And then even when I finally did manage to get some interviews, completely bottling them. But there was light at the end of the tunnel, as I was finally able to get my foot in the door, as everything changed after learning this. And just before we get into things, if you're new here, my name is Charles, also known as Jide, and I'm a technology consultant with a focus on data analytics for one of the largest IT and technology consultancies in Europe. So what did I learn? What changed for me? What was the momentum shift? And this goes back to my first job, full-time job out of university as a sales engineer, where I was bored out of my mind one day, just waiting for the clock to tick and hit 5, thinking about how productive I'm going to be when I get back home and watch someone else code, which is actually a major pitfall for many people trying to get into the tech industry. But more on that a bit later in the video. And my work colleague, knowing that I had aspirations to move into tech, came up to me and told me about one of his friends that recently landed a job at Deutsche Bank with very little commercial coding XP. And honestly, I was just in awe, thinking about, wow, he'd done so well, and I would want to be in that situation. But my reply was like, wish I could be doing that, but I think it's too late for me, I just can't get it. And his reply was literally, discomfort equals growth. And then before I could even reply, he was like, how his friend was working as a mechanical engineer and how he took a 6-month sabbatical where he had no income and where he was just focused on learning how to code, learning how the different, technology packages work together, learning actually proper workflow, learning actually how to make his code efficient. All these things together alongside learning how to effectively and adequately answer interview questions allowed him to get this job. Once he replied saying that, I didn't even say nothing, I just said thank you. He said, what for? I said, you told me everything I needed to know. And honestly, after that, just carried on working for the day. I had a lot on my mind. I knew that when I got home, I had to restructure everything I was doing, replan everything I was doing, revisit all the work I had previously done. Now, everybody learns differently, but I knew after this conversation that there was a certain level of discomfort I needed to grow, a certain level of discomfort I needed to develop. Now, for my colleague's friend, this was him leaving his comfortable full-time job with clear development and progression to work on learning how to code properly for $3.99. And I need to discover and understand what level of discomfort, what exact attributes I needed to evolve, let's call it. This changed the way I even approached coding. As before, as previously mentioned, I used to watch a lot of tutorials, but now I actually used to take time to code for myself. This actually changed how much time I actually looked at spending on coding. I remember before I used to code while playing games like Smash. Like I was going to get any better at coding, and I definitely wasn't going to get any better at Smash. And even just looking at why things work. So when I did fall into trouble, and everybody's best friend, Stack Overflow, trying to understand why this code actually potentially works, not just copy and pasting. And don't get it twisted, I'm fond of copy and pasting as well, we all are. Now, previously I mentioned that there's a certain level of discomfort I needed to ensure that I grew, as we all stay in the comfortability zone far too long, which limits our growth, limits us reaching our potential. So what dish of discomfort was I served to ensure that I would grow and reach the next level? Now the first level to this discomfort was completely minimizing my leisure time. So this involved during my lunch times, taking time to do coding related tasks, which also followed suit into my evenings, and went as far as completely taking away video games during the weekdays. But we don't do that no more. You can most definitely catch me on the new Pokemon during this Christmas holiday. Now the next part to the discomfort was actually a job offer, which many would say is a victory lap. But when I explain, I'll be completely honest with you, I still just couldn't get that job offer. So what I started to do is apply for graduate schemes. Now, for those of you that don't know, graduate schemes are jobs tailored to people that are just about to leave university. So with a lack of real world work experience in comparison to working professionals, of course. And for many people around me, including myself, this seemed like a backward step. But I knew that this could potentially give me the break that I needed to actually get into the industry. And unfortunately, the offer as a junior data technology consultant actually came at a salary lower than what I was making at the time. And what made matters worse is that when I told my company that I was, thinking about leaving to make this move, them being a very big organization started throwing money at the situation to make the decision that much harder, and it now became a significant discrepancy between both job offers, of course. Now, by having good people around me that were able to advise me, as well as, me being very clear and understanding that where I want to go and what I want out of this situation allowed me to make the right decision, swerve out of that comfortability lane, potentially knowing I could crash, but knowing that this will result in the change that I really want. Now, to ensure that I got the most out of the move I was making, I set up a plan prior to making the move of 12 to 18 months where I'd really cultivate my skill set. Now, I was fortunate enough with all the opportunities I was given, like having managers that were data experts, as well as people in the team that are very knowledgeable, but I also made sure I said yes to all the opportunities that were given to me. So being able to be on projects that were very, very data heavy, and of course were above my skill set or above my competency at the time, as well as jumping on qualifications. By doing all of this alongside all the things I previously mentioned, so spending my personal leisure time to do work, it allowed me to cut that 12 to 18 month timeline to 9 months to my current role right now. So what does this mean for people aspiring to have a career in tech? Now, I'll first start by saying fortune favors the bold. Now, during my journey so far, my switch to tech, I've been fortunate enough to be in situations where luck and chance has definitely played a part. But what I will say is that I wouldn't have been able to be lucky if I first didn't take the steps which have presented opportunities. And this actually goes off the back of a quote that says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So my question to you is that, are you prepared to be lucky? Now, the second thing I want to say is that the road to getting into tech or getting into whatever career that might be that you desire is not the same for everyone. There's going to be people that are going to land and get in very easy and just keep on getting promoted and doing well for themselves. And there's people that are going to struggle to get in the initial phase, like myself. Currently speaking, I actually have people around me on both sides of the spectrum. And when we're talking about struggling to get in, we're talking about various means like coding boot camps, coding in their own time, going for different qualifications, and even using the sabbatical example as well. Now, no matter which road, which lane you take to get to the end goal that's desired, what I will say is that as long as you have it in mind, so just changing, altering your mindset to be comfortable with being in discomfort, in that interim, then there's no reason why you can't make the change you want to see, why you can't get to the development, get to the level that you want. And by just ultimately keeping this as your thought process, I can assure you that your change will be televised.